New York City was drowning in an October rain. Cold droplets slanted down, pounding against the rusted sign of a shabby pawnshop. On the wet sidewalk, a small figure huddled under the awning, a thin little girl in a tattered coat, clutching a basket of wilted wildflowers. Daniel Wright stepped out of his gleaming black Lexus, his Hermes tie draped over a suit that couldn't hide the exhaustion etched into his face. "Excuse me, sir. Could you buy some flowers?" The fragile voice cut through his thoughts. Daniel turned, his cold blue eyes meeting the tear-filled brown ones of a girl no older than 10. "Why aren't you at home?" Daniel asked, his voice softer than he'd intended. The girl ducked her head, her bony fingers nervously stroking a drooping petal. "My mom's sick. I need to sell all these to buy her medicine." Daniel glanced at the basket. The wild daisies inside were limp, their petals curled from the damp. "How much?" He reached for his wallet. $2 a bunch, sir." As the girl reached out with the flowers, her oversized sleeve slipped back. And Daniel saw it, a crescent-shaped scar on her left wrist. "What's your name?" His voice turned hoarse. "Emma." The name hit him like lightning. Emma, the name he'd given his daughter, the child the world believed had died in a fire 8 years ago. His hand trembled as he touched the scar, the same mark his daughter had from heart surgery at age 2. Little Emma stared in confusion as the well-dressed man suddenly wept. "Mister, are you okay?" Daniel didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the small wooden box she'd pulled from her pocket, something hauntingly familiar. The small wooden box sat heavily in Daniel's palm. The faded grain of the wood, the chipped varnish at the corners, he recognized it instantly. This was Sarah's jewelry box, the one he'd gifted her on their first anniversary. "Mama said, to sell this only when there's no other way," Emma whispered, her tiny fingers brushing the lid. Daniel took a sharp breath. The scent of aged pine and damp mildew flooded his senses, dragging up memories he'd buried 8 years deep. With trembling hands, he lifted the lid. Inside lay a silver bracelet engraved with daisies, their wedding gift, a faded photo of 3 people, and a crumpled note in Sarah's handwriting, "Forgive your father." "I can't read this," Emma said, peering at the note. "Mama just said if anyone recognized the bracelet, they'd keep me safe." Daniel's knees buckled. He sank onto the rain-slicked pavement, uncaring of his ruined suit. "Sarah. You're alive." His voice shattered. Emma gasped when tears spilled down the stranger's face. "Mister, does it hurt?" "Here." She dug into her pocket and produced a crumpled candy. "Sweet things help." Daniel pulled her into a crushing hug, breathing in the scent of chamomile shampoo, exactly like his daughter's. "Take me to your mother. Please." The VIP ambulance screeched into Massachusetts General Hospital under a downpour. Daniel stood frozen under the awning, his designer overcoat soaked through. "Female patient, 38, stage 4 lung cancer, immediate ICU." A doctor's shout cut through the wailing sirens. Daniel watched Sarah's emaciated body convulse on the gurney, oxygen tubes snaking around her face. "Daddy, is mommy gonna die?" Emma's small hand gripped his, her voice trembling. Daniel knelt, pressing his forehead to hers. "I'll move heaven and earth," he whispered. In the ICU waiting room, Daniel sat slumped against vending machines. Emma appeared holding the wooden box. "Mama told me to give you this when..." She trailed off, pushing the box toward him. Inside, Daniel found his discarded wedding ring, a half-finished letter beginning, "My dearest Daniel," and a one-way ticket to Portland dated the day before the fire. She was leaving me. The realization tasted like blood. What made her stay? Emma produced one final item, a yellowed sonogram. This was Mama's other baby. She said it never got to meet us. Daniel's vision tunneled. The date stamp screamed at him, 12 weeks gestation, strong heartbeat. The math was undeniable. Sarah had discovered her pregnancy the day she planned to leave. stayed to protect both children. And when he'd screamed, "Take nothing that's mine," during their divorce, she'd taken everything, including the child he never knew existed. Where? His voice broke. Emma touched the sonogram scribbled note, "Baby Hope, born sleeping March 20th, 2016. The waiting room tilted. Daniel clutched the ultrasound, its edges cutting into his palms. Another daughter. Conceived in love. Buried in secret. She lied, Emma whispered. Mama cried every year on March 20th. But last year, I saw. A crumpled Polaroid fell from the box, a toddler with Sarah's blue eyes playing in a sandbox. The date, March 20th, 2018. Hope was alive. The nun's flashlight carved jagged shadows across the orphanage basement. Daniel's Italian loafers crunched over mouse droppings as he followed Sister Margaret through archives untouched for decades. March 20th, 2016, female infant, Hope, transferred to Portland General. March 21st, 2016, entry redacted per Sister Agnes. April 3rd, 2018, adoption finalized, Thompson, Robert and Lydia. Daniel's blood turned to ice. Robert Thompson. His former CFO. The man he'd fired for embezzlement 3 months before the fire. Emma gasped. That's the mean lady who came to Mama's funeral. The flashlight revealed a Polaroid paperclip to the ledger, a platinum blonde woman in Chanel sunglasses lurking near the orphanage playground. Lydia Thompson. Smiling at a toddler with wild chestnut curls. Hope. Sister Margaret crossed herself. The Thompsons donated $2 million after the adoption. We thought. Daniel's fist connected with the filing cabinet. The dates lined up like a noose. December 2015, Thompson began stealing company funds. March 2016, Hope vanished from medical records. August 2016, the fire that killed Sarah and Emma. He knew. Daniel's voice was guttural. That bastard knew Sarah survived, and he took my daughter as revenge. A brittle envelope fell from the ledger. Emma snatched it up, revealing a lock of auburn hair tied with blue thread, the exact shade of Sarah's favorite scarf. On the back, in handwriting that wasn't Sarah's. Insurance policy. The right heir for my stolen millions. The iron gates shrieked as Daniel's Mercedes rammed through. Emma crouched in the passenger seat, clutching the orphanage ledger. Remember, we're just here for Hope, Daniel growled, loading the Glock he hadn't touched since his Marine days. They followed a child's voice singing, "You Are My Sunshine," to a lavender bedroom. A girl of 7 sat brushing a porcelain doll's hair. Chestnut curls. Blue eyes. The crescent scar. Hope. Emma breathed. The girl looked up with eerie calm. You're the ones Mommy warned me about. Daniel's knees hit the Persian rug as Hope produced a velvet box. Inside lay a newspaper clipping of the fatal fire, Sarah's charred bracelet, and a DVD labeled, What Daniel Wright Did. The playback showed Lydia Thompson's manicured hands arranging dolls. This is the bad man who burned your real mommy alive. Emma vomited. It's not true. Daniel grabbed Hope's shoulders. Your mother saved you from. A shotgun cocked behind them. I believe you've met my daughter. Robert Thompson stood dripping in the doorway, his bathrobe stained with blood. Napa Valley Vineyard, underground medical suite. The scent of fermenting grapes couldn't mask the antiseptic stench. Daniel's combat knife glinted as he sliced through the 4-line pumping unknown fluids into Sarah's emaciated arm. Emma covered her mouth. Her mother resembled a wax figure, blue veins visible beneath translucent skin. Hope tugged at the heart monitor. Aunt Lydia said Mommy needed special sleep medicine. She pointed to the 4-bag labeled midazolam with a crayon-drawn heart. I drew the dosages myself. Daniel's blood ran cold. The chart showed triple the maximum sedative dose. For 8 years. Then Sarah's finger twitched. Under the vineyard's dim lights, Daniel played the Thompsons' home videos. 2016, Lydia adjusting Sarah's oxygen mask. Say goodbye to your baby. Hope thinks I'm her mother now. 2019, Robert waving adoption papers at Sarah's comatose face. Daniel's company is mine, just like your daughter. Last week, Lydia injecting a syringe while humming. Time for your treatment, Mrs. Thompson. Emma smashed the iPad. They were recording her torture. Daniel pressed Sarah's wedding ring into her palm. Fight. Hope needs you. A single tear slid down Sarah's temple. Then, the faintest whisper, P. Hope pressed her scarred wrist against Sarah's identical mark. She's saying Pandora. That's what Mama called me in our secret games. Daniel ripped open the bedside drawer. Inside lay a vintage music box engraved Pandora. Beneath the false bottom, a key labeled Right Vault Number 7. A photo of toddler Hope with another identical girl. A syringe labeled Reversal Agent. Emma went pale. There's 2 Hopes. The retinal scanner beeped red. The darker-haired Hope, Pandora, touched the keypad. Mama's numbers were, my birthday backwards. The vault hissed open. Cold blue light revealed rows of incubation pods. In the central display. Embryo right, H7X. Status, terminated March 20, 2016. Genetic source, maternal, Sarah Wright. Paternal, data expunged. Emma screamed. Floating in the nearest tank was a near-perfect copy of 7-year-old Hope, with Lydia Thompson's blonde hair. The security monitors showed the truth. 2015, Lydia stealing Sarah's prenatal records. 2016, underground lab photos of Hope's embryo being split. 2018, surgeons imprinting crescent scars on both girls. The final video broke Daniel. Sarah, awake and raging, screaming as they extracted eggs. You can't clone a soul, Lydia. She'll never love you. Lydia's chilling reply, but she'll obey. Just like your husband's board members. Hope number 2, the vineyard child, collapsed. Aunt Lydia said my nightmares were from the fire, not this. Pandora pressed her scar against her sister's. The wounds glowed faintly blue, nanotech markers from Wright's abandoned defense projects. We're not clones, she whispered. We're shadows. Security alerts blared. Lydia's voice echoed through vents. Darling Hopes. Time for your medication. Daniel armed the lab's self-destruct. Emma, take your sisters to the car. Sisters. Both Hopes turned. Sarah's voice rasped from the doorway. Triplets. She stood swaying, clutching a third music box, this one labeled Cassandra. Epilogue, 3 years later. At Sarah's grave, empty, per her request, 3 scarred wrists laid daisies. Emma in NYU hoodie. Hope in ballet flats. Pandora in lab coat. Daniel left his CEO badge atop the headstone. The engraved dates read. Sarah and Wright. Beloved mother of 3. You were my sunshine. As the car pulled away, the security feed from vault number 7 flickered to life one last time, showing a 4th incubation pod being remotely activated.